The Court of Public Opinion is a part of the Amateur Radio Network. While we quit pretty much webcasting, it's a lot of work and it's a lot easier to do radio, and probably podcasting is really where we're going to be headed. I'm going to get right into some of the topics here in Pennsylvania. Who's running for certain positions. It's best to know a little bit more about the candidate, and we're a little bit more ahead of it this time. What happened was the last time we were preparing for the election, we had signs stolen and a lot of belongings stolen in the course of the last, since really moving back to Pennsylvania. And I wrote a letter to Josh Shapiro, who is running for state attorney general, and he could not help me. And he was praising child abuse survivors for having survived the clergy abuse case, and yet blaming Republicans. And I'm one of those survivors, and he wouldn't even help me with my truck. My truck had actually got caught in the middle of a sewage grill, and I was trying to get help, and I wrote letters to the state attorney general stating about some things that were going on with my vehicle. And he wrote back and he would not help me. And I'm going to tell you, this goes on with a lot of people in Pennsylvania. You got to really care about your voters. You got to care about the issues that matter to the average voter. It might be something as simple as a wheel getting caught in a sewage grill. But no matter what the circumstances are, when we look at the child abuse survivor issues and we look at the issues in Washington, D.C., we know how serious these issues are. I mean, look at it firsthand. It is what it is. You see it for what it is. There's a special place for judgment. And I believe at some point all of us are going to be judged for what we did and did not do. And a lot of people who avoid passive aggressive, I have a brother that's like that. They're passive aggressive because they don't know how to direct the conversation, or they do and they don't want to be honest. And passive aggressive is what I deal with oftentimes. Everyone will be judged for what they did and did not do. And there are people that live in nice lofty homes and pay their mortgage every month and pay their car, and they have lofty vehicles, a lofty lifestyle. And most people who have credit cards live off their credit cards. So when I look at what I own property wise, I want to itemize out that I don't owe a lot on credit cards, because credit card debt is the reason most people who have that lofty lifestyle have to keep up with it. It's not easy to live beneath your means. It's better and it's wiser to know, because in the long run, when people tally up their total assets, it's what you own. It's not what the bank owns. Believe me, there's going to come a time it's going to matter. So we were talking about what kind of people you want to run and represent you in Washington, D.C. and in Pennsylvania. Well, to me, I want to look at the character and more about the person that's running. First, I need to comment about this image of this little girl. It's important because it sets up for the conversation we're going to have about journalists and journalism 101, and how Megyn Kelly interviewed and attacked the victims. And again, when victims advocates start to really get the whole story about what happened with the Tara Reade story, and how victims advocates need to come alongside Tara Reade and also child victims, it's obvious that someone like in this case, Megyn Kelly, is not a victim's advocate. And I have come to the realization, you have to go through something in life to really understand the advocacy part. Like, what she was basically saying is that Tara Reade should apologize to Joe Biden. See, this is why Megyn Kelly lost total credibility with a lot of her fans I used to be a fan of Megyn Kelly's until she went down this road. This is why elections, just like what we're seeing coming into the election season, they want mail-in ballots, and it's a big story about mail-in ballots, and Democrats want people to mail in the ballots, and that way you can throw them away if it doesn't go their way. It's called throwing the election. So make sure when you go to register to vote that you walk in person and pick the person that you want to vote for. Don't mail in the ballot, just for your own sake of knowing. That's it for tonight. I mean, this is it for me. I had to take a break. It's just very important that we at least get some topics in today. There's a lot of topics that we want to cover. It's just on a Sunday, on Mother's Day. We want to wish all you mothers a very happy, special Mother's Day, especially those moms that are sitting in the waiting room, waiting for a child and are adopting because they're pro-life. God bless you. Happy Mother's Day.